the Merida Regional Championships results. And of course, we are in the presence of the Merida Regional Champion, Azul GG. Congratulations again. And yeah, you did it with the Miraidon. So why don't you just kind of talk to us about the process of why you chose Miraidon and how you ended up on the list that you chose to play for the event? Because one thing that is actually pretty interesting, and I'm sure you've noticed this as well, is that a lot of the good players that played Miraidon for this tournament were their lists were within 2 cards of each other. Everyone's list was very similar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone was, like, on too crazy like, the list was pretty as like, the list that I ended up playing wasn't, like, too crazy different from what was, like, kind of established as, like, the way to play Miraidon. And yeah, I like, my thought for how I wanted to approach playing in major tournaments moving forward, towards Merida and, like, moving forward for the rest of the season was I wanted to pick a deck, um, as soon as possible before a tournament or within like I said, 4 to 5 days before a tournament, and then just play as much as possible with that deck before the major tournament, then go to the major tournament, play the deck in the major tournament, um, and repeat. Um, and leading into Merida, I only had 1 day because I don't what was I doing? Why was I not streaming more before Merida? 'Cause is that when I was just first moving my room around and stuff like that? I don't remember.
I don't know. I don't think there was a good excuse.
Um, I guess I was just moving a bunch of stuff around still at the house here. So I was able to stream for 1 day. And I was between Gardevoir and Miraidon. I was like, well, if I'm going to stream for 1 day, I should probably go with Miraidon. So chose to play Miraidon, grinded on stream for 8 to 9 hours, trying a couple different things out, and ended up on this final 60 here. Last minute changes was in between like 1 or 2 Forest Seal Stone. I was down to 2 boss for a little while, and it felt fine, but glad I did come back up to 3 boss. And 3 felt pretty comfortable at the tournament overall,
Who
to be
who told you
honest.
to do that?
You were definitely a staunch advocate of, 3rd boss's orders. And then, was in between the Magnemites, and I let chat pick which Magnemite to play. They voted on the 50 HP Magnemite, and that's the one if I had to pick between the 2, I probably would've picked myself, so shout out to chat for picking the 50 HP Magnemite. The reason to play the 60 HP one, its attack is way worse, but it survives Dusclops, is, like, the big thing,
Yeah.
so but the attack of the other one is a lot better. The magnetic charge to accelerate 2 energy into play, which you can do with Squawkabilly, but Magnemite's a 1 pricer, so it's kinda nicer.
Yeah, and I
Um,
was a pretty big advocate for 60 HP Magnemite as well, um, but upon, like, kinda just thinking about it a little bit more and obviously it worked out just fine. Probably just having, like, the option of this attack in most matchups outweighs the potential of your opponent Dusclopsing it, right?
yeah,
So
definitely.
and it sounds like you were able to use its attack magnetic charge to pretty solid effect throughout the weekend.
Yeah, I used it 3 or 4 times overall, I think. Sometimes I go out of my way to do it because Magneton was prized, and other times it just kinda lined up to be, like, the best thing to do in my turn was to, attack with the Magnemite, get extra energy in play. So that's why I ended up on Miraidon, that's how I ended up on, this 60. And like I said, like, happy to have won the tournament, of course. Yeah, there's people who are, like, questioning and, like, want me to be going to tournaments. Now that I've gone to a tournament, I'm like, yeah, I mean, the tournament win is good. I'm happy to have won, of course, get my worlds invite, all that stuff. But I am unsatisfied with the tournament overall because I'm more concerned with. I think this is the best way you want to look at it as well. How you like how you play on the tournament is all comes through your preparation beforehand, right? Like everything before the tournament that matters way more than the actual tournament. I feel like, or you want it to matter more, I guess, right? Like you want your week or how much ever preparation you can put into the tournament before the tournament. You want that to be the bigger impact on your outcome of your tournament, not like you seen some like genius lines of play in the tournament or hoping to see these genius lines of play in the middle of the tournament. You want to already know those lines of play exist. You don't even have to think that hard to like come to the conclusion to do those lines of play in a certain matchup, right? So I'm unsatisfied with uh, the overall like tournament, right? Because I didn't get to prepare as much as I wanted to. I streamed for 1 day, grinded Miraidon, but I want to do like 4 or 5 days on top of already more days before that, playing with a bunch of different decks and just playing the format in general to kind of figure out what deck I want to play at the tournament, and then grind that deck for a couple days in a row, which I won't be able to do for UIC either, unfortunately, coming up. But if you want to know what I'm playing for UIC, just tune into the stream on Monday, I guess. That's what I'll be playing. And it was kind of funny though, because when I was doing it at Merida, people in my chat, dude, I don't understand. This happened at once recently as well. And when anyone says anything like this, I usually just ban them because I just don't. It's just annoying. But like, uh, I feel like I've never done anything in my career or with my content for people to question my integrity in terms of if I say something. Well, I like meme and troll a lot, and like I'm sarcastic a lot on stream. But like, uh, there was one point where people were like, I don't know even know what remember what was around, but I banned a lot of people because they were like being like, "Well, no, Azul would obviously never be truthful about this, so don't listen to actually what he says." But it's like these people are still in my stream watching my stream. It's like I don't want that kind of stuff in my chat, so I just ban those people. But it's like, why would you want to watch a content creator, someone like me, who's like the reason you'd watch me is like more towards like the competitive side of things. So like if you don't if you think I'm lying or not telling the truth, why would you watch my content, right? Because like especially for my stream and my YouTube videos, it's about the competitive and the information I'm giving on like a competitive level. It's not really about like the entertainment side of things, which is like what our secondary uncommon energy channel is about, right? Um, and there's people in my chat before Mirada. I didn't ban any people for saying this because I just thought it was like silly the way they were acting. But people were like, "Is Azul actually going to Merida?" Or "There's no way he's actually playing this deck." I remember someone in my chat was like, "You're not actually playing the 60 though, right? You're gonna have something spicy to throw in at the actual tournament." It's like, no. What do you guys like? What do you guys think? Like what? I was so confused where these questions were coming from. It was like I've already said I'm going to Merida and I'm playing the 60 that I'm coming up with on stream like right now, and then people are still like questioning it, like there's some hidden agenda or something, and it's just like I don't even know. But if I don't, I just don't understand if people actually thought that. Why are you watching my content to begin with? Like, I don't know. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like it is. I guess it is kind of discouraging to me a little bit because I feel like the way I hold myself, the standard I hold myself for like I don't know being genuine is like I just kind of hope that people take me at my word with this kind of stuff. So it is kind of like I guess annoying, but maybe a little bit disheartening when people like assume I'm like have like some hidden agenda or something like that. So that's kind of always I guess like disheartening, but a little bit. But it wasn't that bad after it was really bad at one point. I don't remember it was sometime last season, but for the Merida thing, it wasn't that bad because like people were just like thinking I was trolling. I don't know what impression I gave to people to assume that I was trolling, but that I was going to Merida, or number two that I wasn't not going to play the 60 that I was talking about with on stream. But maybe just kind of the idea of it is like was shocking to people. But you even had like people like toured before the last European tournament. He was like, "This is the 60 I'm playing. It's in my Metafy group. That's it, right?" So I don't know. Like, and I think we've seen similar stuff from Bradner as well recently, where he's like,
Yeah.
I'm basically playing this deck. Maybe I'm gonna change a couple different tech cards at the end, but like, yeah, people are being pretty transparent in their Metafy groups. I guess maybe that's kind of just an adjustment thing. People just aren't expecting it, so that's kind of fair as well. It's like people are like, wait, these players, these top level players, are just like giving us the 60. Maybe that's because like having there's so many 60s out there now that it's like having a 60 doesn't mean that much anymore. It doesn't mean as much as it used to.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Little rant.
It's also not the first time you've done literally this same thing. Like, I remember years ago watching a stream where you and Brad Curcio, right after Garbodor came out, you spent a day on stream building the slow Volcanion deck, and then you ended up getting top 8 at the Madison Regionals that week with the
Yeah.
exact 60 that you guys worked on.
Yep. Yeah. Slow Canyon. I think it was
So
super fun.
it's happened before. It's happened before. I do want to ask you about what this tweet is about. I was told to ask you about this situation here. Something that happened during your game. So
Yeah, so
Pablo tweeted, "Did you know that Rotom V's attack is 40 plus, not 40 times? Because I didn't till today." Are you the one who taught Pablo that Rotom V's attack is 40 plus, Azul?
yeah, it was funny. So at the beginning of the game, I knew Pablo was playing control because I saw him play a match earlier, and I didn't know exactly what he had, but I saw a Feebas on his bench. I saw the Ogerpon in his active when I walked past his match earlier. So I was like, it's Pidgey control. He's got these cards. There's a couple unknowns going into the match that I wasn't sure of, but I was like, if it's anything like All Out Blitz, one of All Blitzel's recent builds, which it looks similar to, I was like, he doesn't play Mawile, and he doesn't have Erica's Invitation or Flute. So I was like, with that in mind, he can't Ogre Pawn trap anything if I just set up a board full of attackers. And in my opening hand, game one, I looked at my hand and I was like, this is fine, but I would like to see some more cards. And I was like, and I went to go read a card in my deck, And Pablo laughed and was like, "Come on, you're reading your cards?" And I was like, "I just gotta make sure." And I read Rotom. And then later, I maybe game 1 happened really fast. In game 2, I once again put Rotom in play. He brought it up with Ogerpon, trapped it, and then I went like draw for turn, attach, draw 3 with Rotom, yada yada. Traps it again. I go attach, hit for 80. And he's like, "What tool are you lost on?" I'm like, "No, I'm just doing 80 damage." And he was like, "Oh, it just does 40 plus." So you can't actually trap if you put Rotom in play, Rotom's having is like fine to have in play. You can't. There's nothing to trap. Even if Rotom's in play, that you can't actually trap anything with the Water Pond if there's no Squawkabilly or something like that. So I was able to have draw power in play with the Rotom, and still have a board state that was untrappable by the Water Pond, which is kind of nice in that matchup because it is
Broken.
weak to lightning. So even with the Assault Vest, doing 40 every single turn, he'll eventually run out of pennies. I think actually, I guess with the Silent Loop, maybe not with the Assault Vest. That actually be interesting. But I also play 3 tool cards, so I can threaten like an effective one hit on the Ogre Pawn as well, which is
At
what I
some
did.
point, yeah.
Yeah, so I hit him for 80, and then the next turn I went and got like a Bravery Charm, discarded, and then KO'd the Ogre Pawn with the Rotom. So no, I guess actually with the Silent Loop, I think that would be enough theoretically eventually. But
Not as
he discarded the Defiance Vest early on in
mm,
both games, I think actually. So I don't have to worry about that.
not as safe as you maybe thought, though.
Yeah, but yeah, the Rotom is potentially safe to use as some form of draw power. But yeah, you can't use Squawkabilly. You can use Pheasantipity if you want because it can hit for 100. You can attach 3 times to it, but
Sure.
you have to avoid stuff like the Luminion and the Squawk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Pablo did not know what it did. He thought he had it trapped.